tablets, smartwatches, anything that makes a sound, if you could silence it at this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time is now 8 p.m. Today's date is April 16th, 2025. And this is the meeting of the Town of Forest Heights Council. This meeting is now in order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Here.
Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Kennedy, Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Little,
Present.
Council President McDonald, Mayor Lilly.
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, I ask that we have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, the minutes for our last meeting, April 7th, 2025, were distributed in advance. Are there any changes, additions, or corrections to the minutes from April 7th? Councilmember Brownson.
I just have one addition. We never did get the meeting minutes for March the 6th. And I mentioned it before. She sent them to us, but we never got them in our package and voted on them.
Okay. Thank you for that note. So what we'll need to do is bring them to the next meeting, approve the March 6th meeting minutes at the first meeting in May, which I believe is May the 5th. All right, if there are no further changes or corrections to the meeting minutes. They are approved. Next, we'll move to our main agenda. No, we don't. We don't need to, no. Next, we'll move to our main agenda. Is there a motion to approve the main agenda tonight? Make sure your mic's on. Is your mic on? Just for the folks at home.
I make a motion that we accept tonight's agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's agenda. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. The agenda is adopted. First, under our agenda, we have council reassignments. And since we recently had an election, we are now going to reassign committee appointments. That item is not in the agenda tonight. There are not going to be any changes to the committee heads. However, one of the other things we need to do procedurally is to vote for a new council president. And so at this time, we are going to tally the votes. Madam Clerk, do you have a method by which we can collect the votes for council president? Or can we perhaps vote in the board doc system for that?
I do have a tally sheet, Mayor Lily, that I can take this vote on, and I can enter it into board docs after the meeting ends. If that
So-
satisfies the count.
The procedure we normally undertake is that we vote blind and then the votes are counted once they've been casted. Actually, and you know, also what we could do is we could actually move this in the agenda, come back to it, and give you some time to prepare something that's printed out. Does that satisfy Councilmember Brownson?
I think with the committee assignments, don't we have to do a resolution for that, attorney?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Best, yes, if you could.
yes, the committee assignments are done and approved by resolution.
Okay. Well, in that case, can we write one up during this meeting? We can come back to it and adopt it tonight.
The committee appointment.
Yes, sir.
Resolution,
Yes.
that'd be fine, but there's several committees and there's going to be several names, so I need to know who those are unless you want to articulate them.
They're not gonna change, so we can get a document about the most recent time that they were adopted, which would have been at our most recent election last year.
So I can prepare a very short, simple resolution to basically re-adopt the prior appointments
Yes,
that
let's do
were
that.
appointed. I assume it was last April, 2024.
Yes.
Very well. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Best. Councilmember Brownson?
That resolution does not, council president, correct?
No, council president has to be voted separately, and that's,
Right, but it's not in the resolution, I'm saying. because
No.
If that's the case, he would.
no, it's not part of the resolution. Thank you for the question and for the point of information. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mayor Lily, if I may, if Attorney Best does need a document indicating whom was the chair for those committees, I do have one that I can provide.
Yes, I think that would be helpful, save them a little time. So with that being said, I move that we amend the agenda and move the council reassignments to our new business section of the agenda. That's after legislation. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded that we amend tonight's agenda, moving council reassignments into new business as the second item. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none, the ayes have it. So the agenda is amended. Next, we will have a presentation from the Passport parking system. In our recent meeting, we discussed briefly the potential to have a program that would allow the police department to electronically track parking citations, violations, and other matters in certain areas of the town. Chief Reese, did you want to introduce the presenter for tonight?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. So yes, as the mayor indicated, that we have Mr. Zach from Passport Incorporated is for the parking program that we spoke about last meeting. It will give us the tools that we need to track the vehicles that we are issuing citations to. And so we are able to issue the new citations effectively. This company can also do some of the parking permits that we may see later down the road. But I wanted him to give a brief presentation. As I believe Council President requested a demo of how the system actually works of issuing citations. So he's going to do a very brief demo for us, so you guys can kind of understand. So I'm gonna let him take it.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Excited to be with you all tonight.
Sir, just one moment. We're having your audio is coming through just a little chopped up on our side. So I want to make sure we can hear you clearly before you
Sure.
start speaking. Just give us a moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Chief Reese, do you mind checking with Mr. Nate to see if it's an input side, if we need to have Zach? Yeah, we may need to have him change his input potentially. And ladies and gentlemen, just bear with us just a moment as we work out that technical issue.
Hey, sir, you can give us a little test audio, please?
Test, test.
No, it's still choppy.
Choppy as in maybe my connection is bad, or?
Just a FYI, y'all, he sounds clear for those of us who are video conferenced in.
Great, thank you.
Now, while you're waiting, I don't know if you might by chance have a set of headphones or something that can either be via Bluetooth or another input.
I do. If you can give me 1 second, I'll grab them.
Okay.
Okay, maybe you can let me know if that's better now.
We're still having the same issue. So what I think that we may do is, you think we need to reschedule potentially? Yeah, we're still not able to hear clearly. It's still an issue. So maybe.
I can maybe try to call in via my phone. I'm not sure if that would help.
Well, in the interest of time, council wants to move to another item on that. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was,
Yeah, we'll move to another item on the agenda. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, those who are watching online and those who are inside. All right, the next item on our agenda is the youth versus adult basketball awardees. At our last meeting, we welcomed some of the students, including our youth ambassador, who's a student at Oxon Hill High School, and we had coaches from Potomac High School. Tonight, we have some students from Oxon Hill High School who we'd like to have come up and be recognized at this time. If you could please come forward. One of them, I think we kind of know very well. We have Mr. All right, Gary, good to have you back in the house. So you've been here several times, so you're like family now. So on behalf of the Forest Heights Police Department and the Police Activities League and everyone who was involved with the program, we want to thank you for being one of our young adults who's showing leadership by serving the town, serving the community. And congratulations also on the win. For those who weren't here last meeting, the teens did win by 1 point. It was 65-64. So I think there's some folks on the police side who are trying to get themselves a little bit more in shape for next time. Maybe they'll be able to blow you guys out. But congratulations, Gary. And actually, we're gonna snap the pictures together. And if you hang up, we're gonna do a group one before you leave. I'd also want to recognize Gary's mom, Miss Anissa Stanley, who is actually the PTSA president at Oxon Hill High School as well. So thanks for being here tonight, for your involvement in the community. Okay, I'm not that good with the rest of the names, so if you can just remind me, or actually just tell everyone your name.
My name is Andre Gassman.
All right, let's give a hand to Andre Gasson. Again, we appreciate you being part of the program. It was very successful. You all were able to show the community what young folks can do with your ideas and your energy. And we've already heard that we're looking to do this program again, maybe with another sport like football or something else, but we want to make sure we bring it back because it was a great way to bring people together for a positive reason. So congratulations. Yeah, all right, sir, if you can give me your name.
My name is Emmanuel Bizrat.
All right, let's hear it for Emmanuel. So lastly, Emmanuel, I want to thank you as well for participating and for a job well done. Some of the students who participated probably took it a little easier because, right, it was October. It was the middle of their actual regular basketball season. So while they were participating and competing for the community, they didn't want to get hurt. They didn't want to get out on a volunteer or kind of like a exhibition game and then fight themselves out for the season. But again, good to see you back and thanks for participating. We hope we'll see you next year. All right. And for those at home who didn't hear, each of the gentlemen we just reported tonight are seniors at Oxon Hill High School. So it's their last year, and hopefully they're going on to bigger and better things. A council member said that the police department may have a chance of winning next time because they won't have seniors. They won't have all seniors competing maybe next year. All right. So next we're going to move to the Foresights Incorporation Day proclamation. And this is a proclamation of the mayor and council of the town of Forest Heights, recognizing Foresights Incorporation Day. And I hear an echo. Which item is that on? Meetings are fun sometimes, but we're working our way through tonight. It's live. Okay, so this is a proclamation that states, whereas the town of Forest Heights, located in Prince George's County, Maryland, was officially founded on April 19th, 1949, and whereas Forest Heights, formerly part of a larger plantation, St. Elizabeth, established in 1687, has risen above all adversity and withstood the test of time as a suburban residential community established as a subdivision in 1941 and as a town chartered in 1949 as Forest Heights, Maryland. And whereas the founding of Forest Heights marked a defining moment in the town's history, paving the way for a community that has grown into a dynamic and tightly connected hub, enriched by engaged residents, flourishing businesses, and passionate civic leaders. And whereas the history of Forest Heights is an integral part of the broader story and rich history of Prince George's County and the state of Maryland, contributing to the region's culture and civic landscape, and it is meaningful to celebrate this milestone, honor past achievements, and recognize the continued growth and success of Forest Heights as a proud and thriving community. Now, therefore, the mayor and town council of the town of Forest Heights, Maryland, do hereby proclaim April 19th as Forest Heights Incorporation Day in the town of Forest Heights in honor of the founding of our town and the individuals whose vision and efforts has shaped this community into what it is today. Be it further proclaimed that all residents, businesses, and organizations within Forest Heights are encouraged to reflect on the town's rich history and celebrate the lasting spirit of unity, progress, and community pride that defines your community, built on the shoulders of your ancestors of Forest Heights. This day, April 16, 2025. Mr. Best, I know we talked last meeting about the proclamations. Do we need to do a formal voice vote to accept or approve the proclamation, or is that a separate vote that's called out by each individual?
Yes, it should be approved by a motion.
Okay. I move that we adopt the Forest Heights Incorporation Day proclamation for 2025. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the proclamation for Forest Heights Incorporation Day for 2025. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none.
Mayor, if possible, when people vote or talk, they need to turn their mics on because nobody can hear.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy.
Thank you.
All right, so all are in favor and the proclamation is adopted. Next, we have a proclamation for Earth Day for 2025, which states, whereas Earth Day started in 1970 by Senator Gaylord Nelson to raise awareness about environmental issues, sustainability, to honor our planet, and whereas our planet supplies vital resources that support life, such as clean air, fresh water, fertile soil, and a rich variety of ecosystems, and whereas the town of Forest Heights Community Garden and Green Team have been instrumental in fostering environmental stewardship and sustainability through local efforts that promote green spaces, community gardening, and eco-friendly practices. And whereas Earth Day reminds us that each of us plays a vital role in safeguarding and preserving our planet through actions of environmental stewardship, conservation, and responsible management of resources. And whereas the town of Forest Heights promotes recycling initiatives that align with the mission of Earth Day, encouraging residents to reduce waste, conserve resources, and contribute to a more sustainable future. Now, therefore, Mayor and Council of the Town of Forest Heights, Maryland, do hereby declare April 22nd as Earth Day in the Town of Forest Heights and urge all residents to unite in efforts to safeguard, nurture, and enhance the health of our planet through sustainable practice, increased environmental awareness, and collective action. And be it further proclaimed that we commend the Town of Forest Heights council, staff, members, residents, businesses, and our community as a whole who dedicate their time and effort to creating a cleaner, more sustainable future through their ongoing service and commitment to environmental stewardship. I move that we adopt the proclamation for Earth Day 2025.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the proclamation for Earth Day 2025. All in favor, please unmute and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none, the ayes have it and the proclamation is adopted. Next, we will move into mayor and council reports, and we'll begin in Ward 1. Council President McDonald's absent today, so we'll start Ward 1 with Councilmember Little.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I wanted to extend a heartfelt welcome to the, sorry, not welcome, but thank you to the Forest Heights Police Department, especially Chief Reese and Officer Coleman for joining us in the recent Ward 1 community walk. It was a pleasure connecting with the residents, sharing in conversation, and walking in our community together to build stronger relationships and promote community safety. Your dedication and presence truly makes a difference. Thank you. I would like to also remind everyone of the upcoming Keys Job and Resource Fair happening on Tuesday, April 22nd, from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Oxon Hill Library. This is a great opportunity for our young adults ages 18 to 24 looking to connect with employers, training providers, and other great resources. And in the absence of our council president, I'm pretty sure she would like for me to mention the Healthy Heights Ride, starting April 26th and every fourth Saturday of the month until August, meeting at the Bell Acres Parks, for kids ages 10 to 16. And for more information on all events, you can look at all of Forest Heights social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Little. Next, we will go to Ward 2, Councilmember Brownson. Sure, we're going to go to Councilmember Kennedy first, and we'll come back to Councilmember Brownson. Councilmember Kennedy, are you there? If so, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I have nothing.
Councilmember Brownson.
I just want to mention that the community garden is open and ready for business. I want to thank Director Dool for fixing the greenhouse latch. Thank you very much. Also, we have beds that are available for the residents if they want to inquire about renting a bed during the growing season up until December the 15th. It's a 1-year fee of $50, and you can call 301-839-1030 if you have any questions. I want to mention also that the Ways and Means Advisory Committee meeting will be held this month, April 27th. That's a Sunday at 12 noon, and that's following the Finance Committee meeting. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brownson. Next, we'll move to Ward 3, and we'll begin with Councilmember Hines.
Good evening. I first would like to give a warm-hearted birthday wish to our Senator Muse. His birthday will be tomorrow, so happy birthday. Also, I would like to say to our POW camp, spring camp has started on Monday, and I just want to say that I've been privileged to be a part of it, and they've done all sorts of different activities. But one of the things that really caught my eye was they do the, I don't know what it's called, but it's to be aware of fires, you know, all of the procedures that they would do in case of a fire, an active shooter. They do this every morning. They start off with someone coming up front telling the weather. I mean, it's really engaging. I mean, you should come out. If you haven't come to the camp just to see it, it ends on Friday, correct, Chief? So sorry. But yes, it's really, I mean, it's to the staff and to everyone that's involved. You've done a really good job. I really enjoy it. So thank you. Um, Also, I would like to talk about the senior lawn. You know, we had the CDC was doing the lawn care for the seniors, and we have, you know, looked into the program as far as if we can get Edward Burrows, Councilman Edward Burrows, to take over for us, and that's getting started. So we just want to let the seniors know that the grass needs to be cut. We, matter of fact, Chief was. You want to speak on that, Chief?
Absolutely. So the senior program for the lawn care service, we did talk to District 8 County Council Air Barrel's office. What their office told us is if the seniors would like to participate, they're gonna send out mailers to their home. Now the criteria is that they have to be a registered voter and they have to be actively voting because they're getting the information from the Board of Elections. So that's the criteria. So if you meet those criteria, you will receive something in the mail. Obviously, the county is going through their budget also, and so once they finalize it, they did tell us it's going to maybe start right at the beginning of the summer. But we are looking into other ways that we may can use some other resources to help the seniors that are affected in our town.
Thank you. I'd like to also give a shout out to our code enforcer. We had a situation and the code enforcer did his job. He, you know, walked up on the incident and got a car towed that had been sitting, you know, for a while. And I just want to say, you know, he drives around and he sees. So thank you for that. And last but not least, I would like to talk about, I know that you know about it, Mayor, but I just want to put it out there. Forest Heights Baptist Church is doing a community day on June 21st. And I'd like to know if we could possibly maybe reserve a table so that we can get some brochures and information out about the town of Forest Heights. You know, can we just, you know, maybe, you know, engage with them? And that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Hines. And yes, I actually got connected with the pastor. So, and someone who you know very dearly reached out to me about the event. We were able to get them information about what they need to do. So yes, we're looking forward to participating and having some people on site since we have residents that live in the town and attend that church. Councilmember Noble is our second council member from Ward 3.
Good evening. Just want to give a couple of updates. On April 27th, that's Sunday, the Public Safety Committee will have their advisory committee will have their meeting at 10 a.m. in the building. So that's Saturday at 10 a.m., April 27th. Sunday, I'm sorry, Sunday. I wanted to, I was on the MML engagement committee, and they've selected the winners of If I Were Mayor contest. And there was a winner from Prince George's County, from Capitol Heights. So next Friday, the governor will present them with their citations. Also, now's the time, since we have some seniors out here, I know they've already done it. We have there's scholarships available through District 26, through the sheriff. So you need to take advantage of those opportunities. Also, Dementia Friendly America, South County, we meet the second Wednesday, May 14th, in the building, in person, at 6:30. It's on our electronic board as April 14th, but we're going to get that fixed. It's May 14th. So if anyone can come out, or all that can come out, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Noble. I am going to join the meeting and present a brief report, just some updates of events that we want to make sure the town residents come to. Give me just a moment. Look like it's taking. Yep, I'm trying to get the right one. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Can I by chance send this report to someone to project on the screen? I'm having an issue getting this to connect at the moment. Yes, that's what I'll do. Yep, I'll send it to you. While we're waiting for my report to come up, I just want to piggyback on a couple things that were said. The police department is doing an excellent job with bringing the POW camp back in both spring and summer. So we're happy the kids are able to do the spring program. And we're looking forward to something else that's going to happen on Saturday, which is the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition is having an Earth Day and a Green Expo down in Washington, D.C. And as part of the kids who were coming out this week, police department was able to get people signed up, and they're going to actually take them down to the Green Expo on Saturday. This was also an initiative the council president brought to our attention so that we can help them to see what things they can do and to grow up and be good green stewards as they're maturing into adulthood. So we're excited about just the expansion of the program and having a place that youth in Forest Heights can participate recreationally, but also learn and put into good practice behaviors of being good citizens. Did that work, Chief Reese? Okay. All right, so for April 16th, just a few updates for the town. At the last meeting, the mayor and council appointed Mr. Clay Jackson as the town administrator. His first day will be on April 22nd, so we're looking forward to welcoming him to the team and for him to get started learning about the initiatives that Forest Heights has and how he can be assistance to helping us to execute on those things. Next, we are very excited and invite all of our residents out to one of our events we've been planning for a couple months now. We're going to have the Oxen Cove Trail Pedestrian Bridge ribbon cutting ceremony, which will be next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, April 26th at 11:30 a.m. This is going to be at Bell Acres Park, which is located at 197 South Huron Drive, Forest Heights, Maryland. North Huron Drive, my apologies, 197 North Huron Drive, Forest Heights, Maryland. And it's at Bell Acres Park, which is where the basketball court, the tennis courts, and the playground are. Now, on this day, we're going to be partnering with the National Park Service and the Potomac Riverkeeper Organization to reopen a bridge that's been washed away for probably the last 8 or so years. Plus, there's about 1.5 miles of trail that they repaved, which means that if you live in Forest Heights, if you live nearby, you can now walk and ride right to the opening of Oxen Run, which opens into the Potomac River, which means you have waterfront trail in your own community, which we're very excited about. So we're looking forward to have residents come and join us that day. And then Potomac River Keepers has a cleanup event that's going to be going on earlier in the morning and then after our event concludes. So if you'd like to participate in cleaning up along the trail and some of the waterways, litter and other debris, you're also available to do that. And there's a link that you can reach by scanning the QR code that is on this page. All right, next slide, please. And as previously mentioned, this is just the date and time for the Greater Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition Earth Day, Green Expo, and 5K, which will be in Washington, D.C. We have youth coming, and I believe they're already registered. So those people who are participating will be leaving the town at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And Council President will be going, and I will be going myself as well, taking one of our Forest Heights vehicles down to the expo as well to be on display. So we're looking forward to that and hope we'll see residents out for both of these events upcoming. All right, next on our agenda, we have public period. And public period is a time when members of the public can speak and address the mayor and council. You're given 2 minutes to provide comments. Sometimes we can answer the question on the spot, but if we're not able to do so, we will have the appropriate official or department head to follow up by email or phone at a later time. Is there anyone who wishes to speak during public period at this time? Either in the building or online? Okay, hearing none, we will move on in the agenda. And Chief Reese, were we able to get the audio together for the presentation? Okay. All right, so at this time, we can hear the presentation from the representative at Passport Parking.
Hey, is everyone able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Appreciate your
Okay,
patience
great.
as we got
Yeah.
that together.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Mayor, Council, and thank you, Chief Reese, for setting this up. I'm going to go quickly through just a live demonstration of our digital citation management software. So I will start with showing my screen to walk through what the PD would use to issue a parking citation, briefly show what the residents would use to pay for a citation, and then answer any questions if time permits. So I'll start by sharing my screen to the issuance piece. So the enforcement officers would have a handheld device that would allow them to issue a parking citation for whatever infraction is identified. And what this would look like is they would go into creating a new ticket, enter the license plate for the vehicle that they see. And then we have some fields here that could be configured based on what makes sense for what the town would like to see. And same thing here, this is what the actual violation type would be. So for example, this demo environment shows meter and block. We wouldn't have meter and block if we didn't need that because there's no meters there. We would preload your specific violation types here. For example, expired permit or non-displayed permit. One thing that you'll notice is as I'm typing in, for example, Main Street, it's eliminating all of the other streets that don't start with Main. The reason we did this is we built this entire platform with officer safety in mind. We do not want them to necessarily be in a vehicle longer than needed to issue a parking citation. So we tried to make it as efficient as possible. Then you get into evidence. So I'll just take a picture of the office here. This is where you have the ability to capture an image of the parker in violation. And then common notes. So this is what the officer would choose. And again, we'll configure these for what makes sense based on the town, but they would be able to select what is printed on the citation that tells the parker what they were in violation for. And then internal notes would be things that will be visible to the internal team. It could be for confronted by a violator, whatever that may be. And then we would click issue ticket. And then normally that would print on a Zebra handheld printer. I'm going to choose one that will actually issue that. And then that would be put on the windshield for the parker as well. On the ticket, we would also have a QR code that is printed on the ticket that links to the payment website. That is where the parker would then be allowed to go pay for that citation. And we would build a branded version of that for the town of Forest Heights. So here's an example of what the demo environment site looks like. So you can see you've got citation number, you can search by license plate number. There's a few different ones that you can search by. Also worth noting that this is a mobily optimized website. So if the parker scans that QR code on their phone, they would be able to pay for a parking citation directly from their phone as well. And this is all cloud-based, so this operates in real time. So if I search for the license plate that I just issued that parking citation for while I was demoing this for you all today, you will see that here it is already ready to be paid. So there's today's date. I can go in and view information on this citation and see exactly what I got a ticket for, the evidence, if it's going to escalate, and then we give the parker the ability to appeal this citation directly online as well, if that's something that the town wants to allow based on the citation type, if it is escalated from there. If they do choose appeal, the first thing that they're going to see is that picture of us catching them in violation. And then if they do want to go ahead and appeal that, they enter their information here as well. If not, they can just click to pay, enter their information, pay via credit card, and then those funds are going to be remitted to the town on a monthly basis as well. Also, one thing I'll note just on the payment website that's important for the town to know, there is no personal identifying information tied to a parking ticket. So for example, if this parking ticket gets in the hands of someone that doesn't own that vehicle, they can't search the citation number or license plate on this site and figure out who that registered owner is for that vehicle. The only time personal information is entered on the payment site is when a parker is paying for a ticket or is appealing a citation. All of this is then managed through our back office, so Passport Portal. This is where you'd be able to log in and see all of your parking citations in a single location. So you'll see, again, this is a demo environment, but there's the one citation that I issued today. If we had appeals, this would also give us the ability to process those appeals directly from these screens as well. On top of this, you get reporting to see how many citations were issued, how many were paid, broken down by street, broken down by type. We actually have citation density maps. We have the ability to overlay this via what's called Esri data, which gives us the ability to see it based on population demographics, things like that. So giving you the information at your fingertips to be able to make proper decisions all in one single location. So in short, moving from more of a manual enforcement process today where we're using PDFs to issue parking citations, be able to move that completely digital. One note that we've seen across our 800 municipal clients is when a town moves from a more manual process to a digital process, we typically see the citation payment percentage increase by over 10%. So from a collection standpoint, that can be more impactful for the town. And the last thing I'll say is we also do work with the county. So we are a longstanding client through Prince George's County and several other municipalities in the county as well. So I will pause there, and if there's time or room for questions, happy to answer any. If not, I will turn it back over to you all.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. Any questions from council on the presentation this evening? All right. Hearing none, thank you for your time. Next, we will move into legislation for action. And we have a series of resolutions that were brought from our last meeting forward, including first Resolution 09-25. This is a resolution of the town of Forest Heights authorizing participation in the Maryland employees pension system. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 09-25? All right, hearing none, I move that we go into discussion on resolution 09-25. Is there a second to discuss resolution 09-25? It has been moved and seconded that we go into discussion on resolution 09-25. Now, this particular piece of legislation is an enabling resolution that allows the administrative employees to participate in the Maryland Employees Pension System. And we've had several presentations on this legislation and the breakdown and the projected costs over the next few fiscal years. Is there any discussion from council members on resolution 09-25 or if I may, any updates, Chief Reese, on any information council requested from last meeting on this resolution in the series? This includes resolution 10-25 and 11-25 as well.
There's no substantial updates other than, we did send out the requested information from the questions that we did receive, that we did get back to them. Believe that you and the council did receive that, from the town clerk. Is there any questions on that? So what we asked, last meeting, if anybody had any questions that we want to bring to the actual Maryland state system, we gave them those questions and we got a return, and we sent the answers from those questions. We only received one, I believe, and we sent those answers back to the council.
Member Brownson.
I know I sent a question and I didn't get an answer.
You didn't get the form?
What form?
The clerk sent out the questions, the confidential. She sent it out by email.
Confidential form. I'm confused. I don't know what about. Last thing I remember is that I think the mayor and the clerk asked, were there any additional questions after the meeting from last week? And so, I asked a question. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yes, we sent those answers back out.
So maybe mine didn't require an answer. But you weren't on the email. I thought it was the mayor and the clerk that sent the question.
Let us confirm. I do remember, yeah, you asked about comparison.
Yes, we sent those answers
To whom?
to the council, the mayor and council. Clerk, can you confirm?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes,
So,
Madam Clerk.
Chief Reese, I think the document that you're referring to is not what Councilmember Brownson is referring to. However, with regard to Councilmember Brownson's questions, I was told by the program manager, John O'Connor, that you were provided a response. However, I was not included on that.
It's on the document. Could you have the question about the different, if there were other plans? Yes, it's on the document.
What document?
It would be the one that you sent the document out for Mr. O'Connor.
You talking about that confidential document that we got?
Yes. It's the answer.
So that was the answer.
The answer to your question. Yes, it compared all of the different plans that were out there from different areas. That's the research that we did.
Oh.
It was on that document. Yes.
But I didn't get that answer to look and make sure my question was answered. So I didn't get a response back saying that to answer your question, it's in the document that was sent in that confidential document.
Chief, I have a question. Is this this is the one that included costs?
Yes. So no, give me a second. Pull it up.
Thank you all for coming this evening.
Thank you. Good luck to you all.
We'll see you soon, all right?
Get home safely.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, can you pull up the document that you sent?
Yes, let's do this. I think I just looked it up honestly, and I email that I see where it came back, it was between 3 persons. I don't know. I didn't see the email where it went out to everyone. So that may be the issue. However, it looks like it was this on Saturday? It looks like it may have been on Saturday. So maybe we can print it out now and distribute it, and we can deal with some other matters until then. I think the other legislation we can get through a little faster. And I don't think the clerk was on that email now when I'm looking at it. So I will forward it to you so you can print. We'll move on to other legislation. Let's move to resolution 17-25. That is a resolution to authorize flat rate pay for the Police Activities League summer program staff funded through the Prince George's County Local Impact Grant. Now I move that we adopt resolution 17-25. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 17-25. Discussion. Councilmember Noble.
I know the Pell Grant, we've had it before for our different camps. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out about this hourly rate is hereby authorized and approved, but effective what date? Because the participants have been paid at a different rate prior to this resolution. Am I correct?
So no, it was, so the rate that you see was the rate of the previous as well, and the current. The rate never changed since the start of the program.
Councilmember. Are there any other questions about resolution 17-25?
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy.
What is the rate? And also, just for
Actually, let me do
clarification.
this. Chief Reese, do you want to give an update about some of the particulars of the highlights of the resolution? Thank you.
So basically this came about, this is a recommendation from our treasurer. So we received this grant from going through the Prince George County local impact grant from County Councilman Aaron Burrow's office. So the issue is that we've had this program last year and we have it again, obviously this year. Nothing has changed, but he recommended that we pay, that you all approve the pay rate that we're paying the outside individuals, to approve that. That's the gist of the resolution.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Councilmember Kennedy.
So it still doesn't answer the question, what is the rate?
Oh, I'm sorry. The rate in the resolution is $40 an hour.
Okay, and you said outside entities. I know we've had people that were nice enough from, even dispatch, police dispatch to, emergency services, volunteer to help, which I think is awesome. So is there any stipulation? I believe that, obviously if, let's say, a council person decided they had time and wanted help, we are precluded from getting paid, if memory serves me correctly.
That will be a question for Attorney Best. I'm not sure if it's stipulating that it would exclude the council, because it doesn't stipulate that in the application that we gave to the county. It's for all staff and counselors compensated through the grant.
Councilmember Kennedy, what was the last part of your question?
I guess it's directed toward Attorney Best then. Are elected officials allowed to get paid for this particular program?
Mr. Best?
The answer to the question whether elected officials can receive the $40 per hour flat rate to work in the Police Activity League summer program, answer is no, unfortunately. And this is something dictated by both the Constitution of Maryland and the charter of the town.
Thank you. I just wanted that on the record and clarified because, I think some people may or may not remember that portion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy. Councilmember Brownson, you had a question.
Yeah, I guess my question is, I understand you said the treasurer wanted us to do the resolution, but and the purpose of the resolution is just so it's official and that he can do a line item to track the expenses and the salary. I'm just trying to figure out what's the purpose of the resolution other than wanting to have an official document stating.
I can tell you that answer.
Okay.
It was so that we can officially have on record what the pay rates will be, because the council needs to, it provides more transparency and the ability for the council to understand how the breakdown was spent for the folks that are employed and paid through the program.
And all the other expense has a breakdown, like the food, the transportation, all that stuff is already broken down, right?
We have a budget that he's already good for, so we do have a budget for that. Yes.
Okay.
And let me add, the charter mandates.
Mr. Is your mic on?
Pardon?
Okay.
The charter mandates whenever you compensate someone's employed by the town, it has to be authorized by ordinance. So you can either put it in a budget ordinance or you need to authorize it either by ordinance or resolution. I believe the budget ordinance states that resolutions can be passed of a budgetary impact. So it has to be legislated that when you're going to compensate someone and set the rate of payment for that individual or group of individuals.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Best, Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Kennedy, and everyone else who had questions. Any other discussion on resolution 17?
Yes, I have another question, please.
Yes, Councilmember Kennedy.
So the attorney just stated that employees, originally this, when the chief was talking, he said outside entities. Do we have, so you're saying that if we have an employee of the town that's helping with this program, that it has to be stated in a resolution or ordinance? And also, how would that work? Would they be getting paid for the program and getting paid for being on the clock, or do they have to take off time from working to be part of this program to get compensated?
So anybody, we don't pay them double. It's either one or the other. So currently right now, what is happening is people that has already reached their overtime rate or the set, they're coming in to do it. We don't pay them their regular overtime rate. What it is, we pay them the $40 to do it. The other outside would be obviously that school is out, so we have teachers, we have dispatchers, we have actual certified counselors for the youth that we deal with. Those are the outside what I'm speaking of. But nobody gets paid double because our system won't even allow it because the times would conflict.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Mr. Best, you have something else to
Now,
add?
let me clarify, I talked about the Constitution of Maryland. There is a provision in the charter that prohibits not only dual offices of profit, but dual positions. And so there is an exception in the charter, though, for sworn officers. They can occupy more than one position. So an officer could be paid the flat rate for doing this program in addition to his compensation as a police officer. But for example, the public works employees, the director of public works, the clerk of the town cannot have dual positions with different pay structures. So they could not receive payment under that program, whereas a police officer could. It's a little different for them. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying, Mr. Best. Any further questions? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Oh, just FYI again, please. Reminder, when you talk, please turn on your mic because half the people who probably said yes, I did not hear anything.
Thank you. Council's noted. We did. Okay. All right, council has noted. I think a couple of individuals turned the mic on. If you didn't get a chance to turn your mic on during voting, what I'll do is say it if we call, just as a reminder, so we can have folks at home here. Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 18-25. This is a resolution of the mayor and town council of Forest Heights, Maryland, accepting a fiscal year 2026 grant from the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, GOCCP, in the amount of $50,000, authorizing the chief of police to utilize said funds for the FY 2026 Forest Heights Police Recruitment and Retention Program, PRNR. I move that we adopt Resolution 18-25.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 18-25. And for an overview, I'm going to go to Chief Reese again. Chief, can you just give us some of the specific detail of what this will allow the department to do?
Yes, sir. So this is a grant that we're pretty used to. This is a grant for retention and recruitment, obviously with the name. What I can do is give you an example what we use it for, obviously for advertisements, flyers and of those sorts. We use it to incentivize the retention of the officers by paying for like dry cleaning. We pay for like boots, any equipment that the town may not cover. We give it to them as an incentive. We give them an incentive for second language, as an incentive for going back to school, if a longevity incentive. Those are pretty much the expenses that we use for that grant. It's been very successful in the past as well.
Thank you, Chief Reese. I know we're trying to retain and recruit at the moment as well. Are there any questions regarding Resolution 18-25 from council? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. And if you could turn your mics on as you cast your vote.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote was unanimous. The motion.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Council. Next, we have Resolution 19-25. This is a resolution of the mayor and town council of Forest Heights, Maryland, accepting 2 fiscal year 2026 grants from the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, GOCCP, in the amount of $50,000 and $30,000 respectively, authorizing the chief of police to utilize said funds for the FY26 Forest Heights Gun Violence Reduction Program and the FY26 Forest Heights Warrant Program, and establish a special wage rate entitled Law Enforcement Overtime Hazard Pay. I move that we adopt Resolution 19-25.
A second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 19-25. Discussion. Chief?
So this is a grant that we currently are working on now. So I'm just going to break it down. There's 2 grants in it. So the warrant reduction grant, obviously it's pretty much what it is. All of the open warrants that within our jurisdiction, these funds provide an overtime funds so that officers can either, to close those warrants, to find the people who are wanted. We get a list from the office of the sheriff, and we go out to serve the warrants. This is warrants raising from first degree assault all the way from traffic warrants, so that they need to be closed. We're actually in the window of using that grant as well. We not gonna say where, but we just served a first degree assault warrant that was actually issued on the 12th. And we served it on the 12th by getting the info from the office of the sheriff. So what also that grant is, it's setting the rate that we're going to pay the officers to do that, because what they do is, this is for them coming outside of their normal. We don't work 80, we actually work 84 hours in a 2-week period. And so what they do is, after they do their 84 hours, it's overtime. And then we pay them specifically out of those funds to do those specific things, which is to go serve that warrant. But it's just not knocking on the door. You have to do your research. You have to do surveillance. So that's what entails for that grant. The other grant is gun violence reduction. That's where the officers will conduct investigations. They will do stops. We recently just had another one where, if you will, from the incident that happened in December when we had the shooting on the other side of the town, the officers just recently served a search warrant in the city of Greenbelt. They had Prince George's County SWAT team to go in, which that person was connected to what happened in on off of Seneca. When Prince George County, when we went into the home, they found another stolen gun in that home. And we served that warrant. Well, that's also a warrant, and we took the person in custody. So with that said, obviously with that, it is the investigation time that it takes. Obviously, it's been since December, they've been working that case. And we can't sustain the overtime budget, the time that it takes to do those investigations. So that's why we applied for the grant and we received it. And I believe that it's working out well.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Councilmember Brownson.
My question is this something that the police officers have been doing, serving warrants in the town? And if so, is there special training to serve? I think I remember the sheriff used to always serve warrants and stuff like that. And I thought maybe they had special training. I know when there's a technique to serving a warrant. So that's why I was wondering, do they have special training for that? And if our officers have had that?
So there is no special training to serve a warrant. We serve warrants every day. Just by coming in contact with somebody, running their name, and they come back with a warrant. Obviously, we do have a member of our police force that is on the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. Now we have him leading the I guess the warrant search. So they kind of, because he's had, obviously, which I think what you're saying, he had more experience serving warrants, but he leads the troops doing it. But the reason why, yes, the office of the sheriff is the main, that is the administrative of the warrant. But here in Prince George's County, we are severely behind in serving warrants. The list keeps growing. So, and actually the office of the sheriff, every October, they elicit municipalities to do what is called a warrant sweep through the entire county. They ask they ask for every municipality to give, they give us our warrants, and they assign a sheriff deputy team, and they go serve the warrants between the hours of like 9 and 5 a.m. just to bring down the warrants that are in the county. So, but to answer your question, yes, they do with our personnel. Yes.
Thank you for the question, Councilmember Brownson, and for the response, Chief Reese. Are there any other questions related to Resolution 19-25? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
6 yeses, the vote was unanimous, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And just as I know we're working our way through legislation, when we get to the discussion items, I'll dismiss you so you can print the document that I sent. We're almost there. Just wanted to keep that on your mind. All right, next we have Resolution 20-25. This is a resolution to accept the Cree Drive and Onondaga Drive erosion and landslide prevention project for the inclusion in the FY26 budget as a restricted line item pending federal appropriation. I move that we adopt Resolution 20-25. Is there a second?
A second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 20-25. Discussion.
Yeah, I have a question.
Well, but
I'm
just,
sorry.
just a moment. I'm just gonna provide a little bit of background. So Resolution 2025 is dealing with the grant that we applied for community development projects or community funded projects through Senators Van Hollen and also Brooks's office earlier this spring. We did this for projects that are mentioned in the resolution, and we had, I believe, a special meeting to adopt the county's stormwater mitigation plan to push this resolution through. And so this is what that this particular project or resolution is referencing. Now I'll go to Councilmember Brownson.
Yeah, I don't understand the resolution because, I mean, I understand you applied for the grant, but but it hasn't been awarded, so why would we put it on the budget as a line item?
It's as restricted funding.
I understand it's restricted, but still it's not funded.
Well, I don't have Mr. Frank here to answer the question, but
Because, I mean, it's on there, and I think of what they use, this is what I saw the budget is, put it on there, you put it as a restricted asset, and then you try to balance the budget around that restricted asset, but the money never got the money, may not never be approved. So it hasn't been approved.
thank you for your question. Chief Reese, can you get in just a little more specificity on, I believe I understand why, but I don't want it to be my response answer. The way I understand it, it's for us to add a line item there to anticipate that it will be there. It's not included in the funds that are coming in because it would only be dedicated to that spending if it comes. So we've got an answer for that.
Hey, Mr. O'Connor, can you just provide some context for this acceptance, please?
Sure, not a problem. So basically what we're doing is we're acknowledging the fact that the senator's office has intake this grant. It's in the selection process. Additionally, there's criteria with the Maryland Emergency Management Agency in order to participate in the Prince George's County, Maryland Emergency Management Plan. And this is just another step in the process. It's not about balancing the budget or anything of that nature. So what we do is we just pull this in, and these are also lessons learned from the Black Hawk Drive grant that we got through the community project, which we did not follow this process. So it set us back about 9 months in what we were doing. So once this resolution is approved, I'll be able to provide this to the Senator's office as well as the Maryland Emergency Management Agency that says the council has recognized that this is in and we are participating, and that when the full appropriation is there, we're good to go.
Councilmember Noble.
Just one, Onondaga is misspelled throughout the application process and on the headline of this resolution. So just want to keep that in mind. And secondly, I see that the project amount is 6 million, but then when I look in the information from or presented to the senator's offices, its total project costs 5 million. So is it 6 million or is it 5 million? Or is, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Councilmember Noble. Mr. O'Connor.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the grant was originally submitted for $5 million. However, Senator Van Hollen's office adjusted it to $6 million for us because the state of Maryland takes a percentage of the grant to help manage the grant because everything runs through the Maryland Emergency Management Agency. So I requested an additional $1 million with concurrence of the state and the senator's office. So they actually made it for 6 million versus 5.
Mr. O'Connor, with that in mind, will we get something updated in reference to the senators moving that to 6 million from 5 million?
All I have is an email from the senator's office that said, yes, no problem, we'll move it up to $6 million. The actual appropriation, to your point, would be similar to Black Hawk Lane. We'll get an official notification of the final award amount in which you'll accept.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. To your point, Councilmember Noble, I'm looking through the resolution. The street name is spelled correctly in the places where Onondaga is mentioned in the resolution, but in the heading, it does indeed need to be amended. So would you like to offer the motion?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to correct the spelling of Onondaga in the title on the resolution 2025 and any other places it may be, but I know it's in the title.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded that we amend resolution 2025, correcting the spelling of Onondaga in the heading of this resolution to ONONDAGA. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So resolution 2025 has been amended, updating the spelling of that street name. Councilmember Bronson.
I'm still trying to figure out, I don't know what the question was answered, why are we putting this in as a fiscal 26 line item?
Mayor, I can answer
We
that.
don't have an award or.
Mr. Mayor,
Let me go to Mr. O'Connor, then I'll go to Mr. Best. Thank you.
It's because we need to participate in the Prince George's County Hazard Mitigation and Emergency Management Plan, which occurs during FY26 as a precursor. And this authorization will capture that in the 26 budget. And also the appropriation is happening through FY26. So we need to have a resolution in place that recognizes it for the FY26 budget. This way we can show that we're taking the steps as a part of the grant process. It's really procedural. And so we can actually try and get the money and participate in the process. And I think I heard Mr. Best, so there may be something else to add.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connor. Mr. Best?
He spoke same.
Any other questions regarding resolution 20-25? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Excuse me, Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
No, I don't understand it. No.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
5 yeses, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we move, oh, and my apologies. So this resolution, since we made an amendment, it would be that it's adopted as amended. And so do we need, I know that would have been the motion to adopt after we made the amendment to the resolution. Do we need to put something in the record that it was adopted as amended? We had a motion on the floor to adopt it as we went into discussion, but did we need to do something additional after we made the amendment to the title? We did make the amendment. I'm just asking for procedural reasons as far as stating that it's adopted as amended.
There's a couple ways you can do it, Mr. Mayor. You can have friendly withdrawal of all the prior motions that start with a clean slate, or you can simply say, let the record know that there's consensus to approve this resolution as amended, and then move on.
Okay.
If no one objects and challenges your ruling, it's done.
Okay. Madam Clerk, let the record state that Resolution 2025 was adopted as amended with the change to the title for the vote count.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next, we will move to Resolution 2125. This is a resolution to approve the town's participation in the FY25 Prince George's County Council Charge Award Program. I move that we adopt Resolution 21-25.
For discussion, I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 21-25 and discussion. And let's just give a brief update before opening it up to council. This is part of a program that the town is participating in because we were awarded a project charge grant through the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. We've been awarded grants to this in the past, and in this fiscal year, the grant was reawarded. I think last fiscal year, we may have, the funding may have been decreased or there may have been a lapse. And so this is for us to participate in the program where we make payments up front and then we are able to be reimbursed through Maryland National Capital Park and Planning based on specific guidelines of what programs can and activities can be reimbursed under the grant agreement. Chief, did you have any other updates for this particular grant?
No, the county is eager for us to pass it so we can accept the money. I think you summed it all up.
And this is for youth and community, and it is also for beautification. All right, I'll open it up to question. And who was it that I heard had a question? Was that Councilmember Kennedy?
Not really, but I do have a question. I'm sorry. What was this amount again, please? Or this is just in general, a blanket to be able to accept monies?
Can you give me the first part of your question again?
Is there a dollar amount associated with this, or is this just a blanket to allow the town to accept monies?
There's a dollar amount associated, $62,500 for the purpose of community maintenance and beautification, and $175,000 for the purpose of youth and community programming.
Wonderful. I'm all in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy. Councilmember Noel.
I guess the question is, because this goes through June 2025, and have we spent most of this money thus far?
I'm gonna let Mr. O'Connor, we have spent it some, but I'll let Mr. O'Connor on.
There was already line items from previous ones while I was speaking to Mr. Frankenfield. Monies that the town has spent on either beautification or youth and community program can be recouped. So what we would do is look at original money that was spent, and that's how we would get reimbursed. So there's nothing extra that's been spent. It's what has already been spent will just recover, and then whatever is currently there for any of the camps or what Mr. Holland is doing will get drawn into that as well.
Thank you, Councilmember Noble, and Mr. O'Connor. Any other questions for Resolution 21-25? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote was unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have Resolution 22-25. This is a resolution of the Mayor and Town Council of Forest Heights, Maryland, to authorize a grant white paper submission requesting funding under the federal FY25 Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, BLAG program, for the Forest Heights Regional Surveillance Expansion for Crime Reduction Program to install and link cameras to monitor vehicles at strategic locations to combat auto theft and carjacking incidents in the town. I move that we adopt Resolution 22-25.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 22-25. Discussion. And I'll give Chief Reese an opportunity to expound on some of the detail in this resolution.
Absolutely. So the Governor Office of Crime Control and Prevention, they reached out and said that they have some extra funds. I got together with our program manager, and what I want to focus it on for the ones in the council that maybe been around for a while. Back in 2012, the town had did a surveillance program where they had cameras in different places within the town. That equipment is obviously since 2012 is obsolete. So we're looking at funding to try to use that funding to replace that equipment, which is obviously surveillance cameras. Just giving you an example, the plan was for back then Comanche Drive, where there is a camera, but the connectivity to the town would be with what we use the county network called iNet. Basically, the iNet will come from the building that we're in now, the internet, and would shoot over to Comanche Drive. Obviously, we are here and Comanche Drive is over there, so that is pretty much impossible. So that camera is obsolete. So now we want to use this funding so we can purchase equipment, obviously with to use the technology, cellular technology. So point of sight is not an issue. This would happen at various locations where we currently already have cameras, such as Talbot Drive. Obviously, you've seen what we did at Seneca and Sachem. We want to do that at Arapahoe. We want to do it at Shawnee, and we want to do it at Comanche and other areas within the town, such as like the Tot Lot and places where we're getting our complaints that we need cameras. But The issue is obviously connectivity, bringing power that's not already there. That's expensive. And so we will want to partner with, not partner, but we want to use the current vendor that we chose, which a couple of months ago, which was Block, to use their cameras and surveillance cameras to expand what we currently already have for this project. If you will, I will take any questions if anybody has.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Councilmember Brownson.
So is the award is for 40,000.
So
How much is the award for?
So we did a white paper for second, to increase the grants from. let's see. It would be for 30,000.
Okay, so if it's for 30,000 and I see a lot of figures in here. So the contract amount for Flock is 53,000.
No, so
That
let
was
me,
in 2020.
right, so so what the resolution is doing is telling the story. So
Okay.
prior to, if you remember, a couple of months ago, we accepted the $40,000 grant from, for the surveillance. Basically, that's, it's just telling the story that, for the resolution, we accepted these grants prior to, and then, we're coming here now. It's not money that we've already spent. Most of these projects that we have used for Block has been grant funded. So look at the figures, that's the contract. So we normally get this grant every year, so we haven't paid anything out of the general fund.
So
Just and to add, to answer your question, like for example, the contract amount for 53,000 is referencing an agreement in 2023, passed in June 2023. So it's kind of
right, so
tracing it back to when an agreement began. So the portion of this legislation is paying for a portion of services that would be happening now, as opposed to trying to cover the cost of the grant of the contract for when it was first adopted back in 2023.
okay, but I'm not understanding. If it was 53 back in 23, it's probably more than that now. I'm not understanding.
So let me say, yeah, go ahead.
So what happened is the town a couple years ago entered into a contract for a company to provide license plate recognition.
Mhm.
Okay, so go fast forward a couple years, the town just recently, a month or two ago, got a grant from the feds for 40,000. The feds say, well, you town, you have the current grant, we have more money. We're gonna give you some more money if you do this white paper application. You already have a grant, we're just gonna supplement an existing grant under the terms of the grant agreement and give you another 30 grand. But is that okay with your council? So this resolution is gonna approve 30,000 in addition to the existing 40,000 that you approved under resolution 0725.
Yeah, so we approved grant funds to cover the contract, or getting additional funds to cover other activities. Are there any other questions related to resolution 22-25? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes,
The vote was unanimous. The motion carries.
thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, at this time, we have concluded resolutions for action. Next, we'll move into resolutions for discussion. And Madam Clerk, you can be excused briefly to bring that information back for council. Under resolutions for discussion, we have first resolution 16-25, which is a resolution for parking, passport parking management, a resolution to approve a proposal regarding a software license and service agreement between Passport Labs Incorporated and the town of Forest Heights, the town, for mobile payments and citation management for parking digital platform. Discussion. And we had a presentation on this platform earlier this evening. And who was first? I didn't see hands. Councilmember Brownson.
We have discussions on work session for resolutions. Right. I mean,
Well,
we-
on this item, I will defer to the chief. I believe there was one or two items we wanted to get before you so we could start discussion on it so we have enough time to implement it. However, if it's the council to defer this to a later date, if it's not urgent.
So, but then it's not.
Just a moment, just a moment. So we briefly introduced it last meeting, got a presentation tonight. Want to see if there's any further discussion. If there's no discussion on it, we can move to the next item. But is there any discussion?
We're talking about in
My
the,
question is, are we voting on this? 'Cause
No.
since we already had discussion.
No.
Didn't we already have discussion on, so why is it being discussed again?
Well, Councilmember Brown, we hadn't had the presentation yet. I know there was a request to have
Okay.
one done. So we had it done. And in the interest of consideration for the council, we didn't want to ask you to then immediately approve it right after the presentation. However, if after we have questions answered, there is desire of council to do so tonight, we can consider doing so.
If they have questions, just ask questions, and if you want to put it on the agenda for the next time for approval. I was just wondering why
Sure.
we're having so many discussions on what.
Thank you. Councilmember Noble.
I had a question, and Chief, as part of the passports presentation, well, this handout we have, they use Reston Town Center, and they average 40,000 transactions per month. But I don't think Reston nowhere measures to the town of Forest Heights as far as, well, and they said 7,000 spaces. I'm just,
If you will, so, as it is in the resolution, so we just wanted to give some data on if the program works. Obviously in the resolution, so, you know, the town of Evanston, which is smaller than us, Greenbelt, New Carrollton, Upper Marlboro, and Tacoma Park are all part of, they use this system. What I wanted to do is provide him, I wanted to provide some success stories. That's what he included. And from the last meeting, I think it was requested that a presentation was needed, so we did that. And the other request was where was the $1,000 going to come from? We included a line item for the implementation of it. But I've talked to jurisdictions, and what they have told me is that they've seen a switch of a huge success rate. Obviously, with the parking system, now I've done my research on the park. It's been a long. That's why I'm just bringing it to you guys, because I've been doing it for at least a year or so. Most of the parking programs that are out there, we cannot afford. This one is similar to what we're used to, if you will. It's kind of similar to how we do our automated enforcement, to where it's that most of the time the violator pays for most of the fees to the vendor, and we get our portion, and they pay whatever the convenience fee may be for the vendor. But particularly with this grant, um, I'm pushing it because we do have a problem within the town. Obviously, for parking, we have a problem with people just parking any type of way, parking in handicap, parking in spaces that we designate. The issue is that we don't have the bandwidth to manage it all. And so the system will do that for us. And so when I talked to the town of Evanston, they said they have seen a huge success rate because the parking system sends out the late notices, they send out the reminders, and they also do the NVA flagging. they're all in one swoop. And so since they do that, they've seen an increase on delinquent parking notices. Currently, what we do is we have a carbon copy, and the police clerk has to find out when it's late. Then, we have to draft a notice, do the stamps and everything like that. So hopefully that answered your question.
Councilmember Noble.
And just part two, when behavior changes, because that may happen, unless you have new residents coming in violating, say, some of your parking restriction. I'm just trying to see, because this is a 3-year contract. So say year one, we, it's a huge success. Year two is nothing. About the cost, I'm just trying to.
So right now, what I can see is if we maintain at least the 1,800, and that's just looking into the future as well. Obviously, the town has done annexations. We're trying to hopefully to keep up with those projects with that, which obviously, we have National View coming on board. We have other entities when we just did the annexation portions of 210 where we enforced the parking there. I believe that we can keep it up, but I believe that we have a probably it's going to be hard for about 2 years, mainly because of the out of state drivers that we have in the town, such as the DC, Virginia. When they start changing these laws, we need to have a mechanism to keep up with it. And remember that the ones that we have here now, it's going to take a while. We have to wait for them to be expired and wait for them to to do everything as far as that. But I think this is a good way. Currently, obviously, with the businesses, we want to enforce that as well. The parking there. So I believe that we can keep it up for a while.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Councilmember Noble. Any other questions on resolution 16-25? All right, hearing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, resolution 24-25. I've got 24 next. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Resolution 23-25. This is a resolution to set forth and establish the town's real property tax rates for fiscal year 2026. Discussion. And just as an overview, this is a resolution that is being brought forward because the tax rates in the town are not proposed to go up. They're proposed to remain the same this year across all categories. And the county has a requirement that we provide them our tax rates officially by May the 16th. That doesn't coincide with it's before our budget adoption is planned. And so this legislation will allow us to formally make a resolution that we're going to adopt the rates and keep them the same and meet that deadline. Any discussion on resolution 23-25? Councilmember
You can go here first.
Noble. Councilmember Noble. You had your hand up first.
Right.
She deferred.
Well, the only comment I was going to make, is this something we can vote on since there's no changes? So that it can get to the county in a timely manner.
It's got to me.
It's still May
We
16th.
got another meeting. But my question is, in reference to what you're saying, is that I remember, I don't know, it was last year, the county constant year rate changed. So therefore, the residents' rate changed. But we didn't raise taxes, but they had to pay more. So I'm trying to figure out, how does that play into this resolution?
Mr. Best.
Well, the county, like the town, is governed by the tax rate increase law, also known or formerly known as the constant yield tax rate law. County is a taxing authority. in the corporate limits, just like the town is. The town, if it doesn't raise its rate, it doesn't have to go through the special notice and hearing requirement. In addition to the hearing requirement for passing the budget, but the special notice that goes in the newspaper general circulation and holding a special hearing in the month of May to increase the tax rate over what it was the prior year. Yes, the county can end up raising its tax rate, but in the corporate limits of all the municipalities in Prince George's County, they have what's called a tax differential. In other words, you pay a higher rate if you're in the unincorporated area, and you pay a lower county rate for county taxes if you live in a municipality, particularly in a municipality, it's a full service municipality, because the tax differential is even lower in a full service municipality. So there, you could have a situation where the tax rate stays the same for many years or for a successive year in the municipality, but the tax rate changes, tax differential rate charged for county taxation purposes goes up. But that's independent. That has nothing to do with the town. The town can't really do anything about that because that's a separate taxing authority. That's the county council passing that tax. So you still levy your own taxes for municipal purposes, and you still have to pass a budget ordinance every year separate from the counties. And you're just like them, you're beholden to the constant yield tax rate, just like the county is, but it's different. All the taxpayers in the town do get a tax bill that's a consolidated bill where it has the tax rate and the taxes listed for all the municipalities, for all the special taxing districts, for the county, the Park and Planning Commission, the Board of Ed, et cetera. All that gets done in one tax bill. And the county acts as your agent to collect those taxes for you. But the municipal tax part is yours and yours alone. Does that answer your question?
In a sense, but I do remember, I don't know what I was on the council, but there was a debacle about we didn't raise the tax rate and they got tax bills higher or something like that.
Yeah.
What happens?
I can let me answer this question. Councilmember Bronson, you're correct. In FY 23, and during this same period and process, there was a mistake. The information that the county or the state got in reference to the tax rates that the town approved was incorrect. It was a lower rate than what the council actually passed. And so as we went through the fiscal year, we noticed that we were collecting less revenue than expected. We went through a series of meetings and discussions about what to do. And the council ultimately decided not to go back and collect the tax amount that was not collected because the rate that the county got was lower. We decided to waive the difference. And then we kept the same tax rate last year, FY25, and this year we'd be keeping the same rate. So there was a little bit of confusion, I would admit, for sure. But we're trying to get ahead of that process by separately and doing this early so we establish what the rates will be. You did make one other point, which is the constant, it's not called constant yield tax rate, but basically the rate differential that the state sends. Even if we don't raise the tax rate, it's possible that if assessments rose or are factored in, or if they're phased in over a 3-year period from the state, that the assessment could still be more than it was, but the rate will remain the same. But thank you for your question. All right, that's our last resolution under discussion. At this time, we have some items from the clerk to distribute to the council, correct? Just a moment.
Mayor Lily, I have distributed those items and also just want to let Councilmember Kennedy know that I have emailed them to him for reference as well.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilmember Brownson.
Oh, in reference to the resolution for the tax rate, I think Councilwoman Noble had asked if there wasn't a question, could we vote on it tonight? I don't know whether that was answered.
It wasn't. Well, I did say if after discussion, if council wanted to do so, if someone wants to offer a motion to approve the resolution tonight, we can do that.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2325, resolution to set forth and establish the town's real property tax rates for fiscal year 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2325. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I actually believe we have one other item. We didn't get to this. Thank you for being here, Ms. Mile. We have one other item, which is 24-25, because what happened was in my online version of the agenda, it was first until we did 23, so we need to do 24 briefly. Resolution 24-25 is a resolution to authorize an amended contract and modified requisition for Axon Enterprises Incorporated, body cameras, and other equipment and services for the Forest Heights Police Department. All right, discussion. For this resolution, Mr. Frankenfield and Chief Reese worked with Axon to reduce the cost of the contract that we adopted 2 years ago to pay for body cam recording and other equipment services that the police department uses. So this takes into account that we have a smaller headcount than we had at the time that we adopted the contract. And so it outlines several places where the contract was reduced in its cost. Chief Reese, you want to give any other highlights on that?
You pretty much summed it up. So if you look at it, the original contract, it had to service 27 officers at that time. We brought it down to 18. And it's reducing it. No equipment. It's the same equipment. The only thing we did was reduce the amount that is served. And in the resolution, it shows the decrease because it's a 5-year contract. It shows the decrease from the original contract to this contract for the years, the money that we would save.
And Chief Reese, in this agreement, it just simply brings the cost down. So there's not like payment is deferred to a later
No,
time.
it's no deferred payment. It brings the cost down. Obviously, for the first year, it will bring down about 4,000, and then the second year was 60,000. Then the next year after that will be 65,000 reduced for those. Now remember that some of these items, this was one of the issues when the Police Accountability Board went in effect. Obviously, we have to have body cameras. We have to have in-car cameras with the tasers and the body. So, but most of those mandates were unfunded. And so these are the items that we're decreasing because of our size of the department now.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Any questions on Resolution 24-25? Councilmember Noble.
I think this is a good gesture that the invoice is going down, but in the future, I hope that the town will plan to add more officers. So that's just in the future. Thank you.
Agreed. Agreed. Oh, no, it was a question about that. So if they do.
If we do, what we would do is we will go back to them now. This is they're a business, so obviously today's rates are not tomorrow's rates. So we are going down from the 27 to 18. But if we were to ever get back up to 27, it will probably be higher because of that time. Um, so,
What
But-
about something between 18 and 27,
No,
if
we-
it's 22?
right, we would have to negotiate that. Now, obviously, 18 is not what we have now. So we're down to about 13. So what we're doing is we went to 18 just to make us, for the 5 years, we can go back up to at least 18. And of course, if we get to that level with a couple of years, we can come back to you all and the vendor with a new contract.
Thank you, Chief Reese. Is it the will of the council to push this to next meeting, next work session, or to May 21st? Chief, what's the,
I believe, sir, because this has budget implications, if we approve it tonight, that'll help us prepare for the line item for next year as well. Because right now, it reflects the old contract. So, because we're decreasing the funds.
okay. Well, I move that we adopt resolution 24-25.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 24-25. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Did you have something to add?
I was only going to add, sir, that I heard you mention that 24-25 was the last item for discussion, but we actually had the emergency ordinance regarding the lease for discussion as well. So I'm not sure if that was on
It's on this
your
agenda.
agenda.
Yes. It's just the one, my one here, maybe I needed to refresh. Yes, all right. So we have emergency ordinance number 15-25. This is an emergency ordinance of the mayor and council of the town of Forest Heights, Maryland, authorizing and approving a lease of real property from the new owner of the leasehold premises located at 5410 Indian Head Highway, tax account number 12-135-4836, as office spaces for the police department in the town of Forest Heights, and generally relating to the leasehold acquisition of real property for a public purpose. Is there any further discussion on emergency ordinance number 15? That's 25. Councilmember Noble.
I'm looking at the lease in Exhibit B, it says no hazardous materials present. And the landlord certifies they are unaware. But has there been any testing?
So, if
Or
you
is this well, let me put it part two. Or is this certification legally binding, Mr. Best?
What certification are you referring to?
On the lease, it says no hazardous materials present. The landlord certifies they are unaware of any hazardous material.
Yes, that clause is binding.
And
Thank you.
I do want to add that the conversation that I had with him when he purchased the building, he did get an inspection. And he said that there was nothing found as that as well. Obviously, they did not take up walls or anything like that. They did the building inspection.
Thank you, Councilmember Noble. I know at the last meeting we had some questions to answer about this emergency ordinance. Do we have any other existing questions we need to answer between now and a future meeting? From council. Okay, it's council's desire to push this to May 5th or a voter to May 21st. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could let the record show. And I'm going to ask this question, council, all in favor of moving this agenda item to the May 5th agenda for vote? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none, this will be on the May 5th agenda for vote. All right, that concludes items under discussion. And thank you, Madam Clerk, for pointing my attention to that item that I didn't see. Councilmember Hines is doing the best we can. We have the proposed budget. That is an attachment in the agenda for tonight. If there are any questions, we can submit them to the treasurer. He had an excused absence and is not here. However, he did send a communique out to the council with some highlights. The budget will be back on the agenda May 5th and May 21st. The public hearing is scheduled for May 21st. And the Finance Committee meeting also scheduled for April 28th, 27th, Sunday, April 27th for discussion. So we invite community members to come out to hear the discussion, to provide comment and input. We plan to have that budget talk and restructuring and adoption finalized by the second meeting in May. I feel like there's another item under new business. Oh, it's the council reassignments for committees. And do we also, while Mr. Best is reading the resolution, do we have a tally so we can vote for council president?
Mayor Lily, if you don't mind, we're actually going to use just sticky notes
Okay.
and accept them that way. If you don't mind, if I may just go back for the emergency ordinance, you all made a motion to move the item to the May 5th agenda. Can I confirm Councilmember Kennedy's vote for the record?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And yes, you can distribute the official stickies to council. Councilman Kennedy, can you send your vote to Mr. Best? To Chief, can I send it to Chief Reese? Actually, you can actually send it to Chief Reese.
What are you talking about?
We're gonna vote for council president.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you get the resolution as well for?
Mr. Best, if you would like to, you can read the resolution into the record at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And for the record, to those who were watching or maybe listening or may watch this at a later time, Attorney Best is going to read in to the record a resolution which he drafted tonight, which is stating the council committee assignments.
If I may inquire, Madam Clerk, this resolution will be number 25-25, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Town of Forest Heights Resolution 25-25, introduced by Mayor Lilly. Whereas the town code in section 21.2 requires the appointment of council committees within 30 days of taking office. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor makes the following appointments to the council and ad hoc committees. Council committees, Ways and Means, Chair, Councilwoman Brownson. Correction, Council Member Brownson. Member, President McDonald. Other member, Council Member Little. Finance, Chairman, Council President McDonald. Other members, Council Member Noble and Council Member Little. Public Works, Chair, Councilman Kennedy II. Other members, Council Member Hines and Council Member Brownson. Public Safety, Chairman or Chair, Council Member Noble. Other members, Council Members Hines and Kennedy. Ad hoc committees, Beautification, Council Member Brownson. Emergency or COOP, Council Member Little. Economic Development, Council Member Kennedy. Youth Advisory, Council Member Hines. Annexation, Mayor Lilly. Neighborhood Watch, Council Member Brownson. Forest Heights Day, Mayor Lilly. Plus 60, President McDonald. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately. Passed April 16, 2025. Attest clerk and mayor. That ends the reading.
Thank you, Mr. Best. Councilmember Brownson.
I would like to have that, from, what was it, Public Neighborhood Watch?
His Neighborhood Watch.
I declined that position. And also in the resolution, I think you said Council President McDonald, but you can't, she's not Council President as of yet for this.
She is council president until she's defeated by the results of the vote. So at this moment in time, she is the council president.
Right, but if it changes, then you'll change the resolution.
Well, it depends on if this resolution is being enacted right in this moment of time, it won't need to be changed.
We do need to adopt the resolution tonight.
I'm sorry, are you adopting this resolution tonight?
Yes.
What I can do is just put,
Noble wants to be Neighborhood Watch. That's my name.
if that's concurred with by the mayor, I'll strike Brownson and put Noble for Neighborhood Watch. And
With the police.
And I'll also put an asterisk next to President McDonald indicating that she was the seated president, not the one that was being appointed tonight via vote.
Thank you, Mr.
I can
Best.
clarify that.
Yes, or you can substitute Councilmember Noble for Neighborhood Watch. All right, I move that we adopt Resolution 25-25 as amended.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 25-25 as amended. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Kennedy, Councilmember Hines,
Yes.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Yes.
Mayor Lily,
Yes.
the vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, at this time, our last item of business for this evening is to announce the results of Council President. Madam Clerk?
Mayor Lily, if I may just ask the chief if we. Okay, we do have a winner with or without the vote, if you like to wait
Are
on
we
that.
waiting on? Councilman, I'll just confirm. Councilmember Kennedy, have you submitted your will as far as it relates to Council President?
God,
Can't hear you. We didn't hear you. My apologies. If you could state that one once again.
Is there a tie in the people that were selected?
No.
Yeah, don't reveal it. He hasn't voted. He's not gonna vote.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you can record the results.
Yes, Mayor Lily, I want to confirm that we are going to mark Councilmember Kennedy down as an abstention in this vote.
Yes.
Okay, then that would make our new council president by way of vote, Councilmember Paula Noble. May I?
Madam Clerk? Yes, please
Yes,
read,
my apologies.
please read the vote count.
So the vote count is 1 for Councilmember McDonald, 1 vote for Councilmember Brownson, and 3 votes for Councilmember Noble.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Congratulations, Council President Noble.
Congratulations.
Neighborhood Watch, Public Safety, you're gonna be busy. All right. In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention tonight.
Did you want the document that the town clerk passed out?
You know what? We can't conclude. We have the document, and then we also need to see if the document impacts council decision on the resolutions at the beginning of the agenda, resolution 09, 10, and 11. I understand you have to leave, Councilmember Hines. Did the document provide additional context for you, Councilmember Bronson? Did the document comparison? Those resolutions are on the agenda for actions for us to vote. Because the information, if we decide to move forward, is due May 1st. So we need to vote on those tonight. Good night. Madam Clerk?
I didn't have anything to say. I'm just listening for the next action.
To go back and go back to review resolution 09-25, 10, and 11. Okay, for those resolutions, is there further discussion after the information on comparisons between other plan options? Council President Noble.
Yes, question on the, I see the second item, I guess on the research, says defined benefit plan, not a true pension, but similar. Are there just no other pension plans other than the state?
No, there's no pension plan other than the state. There's obviously the deferred comp or the pension plan.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that?
So I'll probably let Attorney Best, there's no other pension plan that we can join as a town.
But you can join a private pension plan.
Well, it's not a pension, it's a deferred compensation. There's a difference.
For the examples we're provided, pension plan is a defined benefit, meaning someone will get a defined payout. They paid into the system, the town has paid into the system, the state administers it. The other options would be that they contribute funds and they are able to withdraw based on the market conditions in the options that are in the chart. But Councilmember Brownson, you want to add?
Yes, I do. 'Cause I'm in a pension plan and I know there are other pension plans. I mean, so I know there are other pension plans. I'm in one.
Yeah, the town had a pension plan with a private provider 15 years ago. But then it scrapped that and went to a deferred benefit.
Right. But he's saying
program.
there are no other pension plans, meaning there's no other exists.
I think they exist, they're almost cost prohibitive for a small town.
Well,
Well,
let me
I
say
mean,
this, just a moment, point of order. So on the question of, are there other pensions? Good question. I think that your comment is, are there other pension plans the town can potentially participate in, not just 401ks or market-driven plans?
Exactly.
Okay.
A pension plan.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I answer
Councilmember
that?
Hyde.
I guess my concern is the funding of the plan. How will the town be able to sustain its funding?
Thank you, Councilmember Noble.
So, so Mayor, what we did as well, I know Mr. Frankenfield is not here. Obviously, I'm not gonna go back because we said the plan to fund it. Obviously, we decreased the budget, we decreased the amount. This will probably be a more defined plan. And I would say it's because currently the one that we do have, with the 457, currently, I know if anybody watched the market, everybody in the town that contribute just lost in that plan. Significant amount of money. But what I can say is that we've made steps for the budget. Obviously, one of the reasons of why we did the Axon contract was to make ways so we can fund the plan. Obviously, with the decrease of the 65,000 over the years would help that. And it will also give us a more defined when we bring in more employees, so we're cautious of when we bring in employees and we know exactly how much they're going to cost. I'm not sure what else in the other rollout.
There's another question we need answered. It's a critical question too, which is, which step are we in the process of adopting? If we adopt the resolutions now, does that mean we're in the plan and it's going to move forward, and then by June of next year, employees can contribute, or are there other steps in the process before it becomes final? Because that will help us to
Yes.
decide.
So
So right
what I-
now, there's not a monetary commitment if we're simply allowing them to do the next series of actuarial
Yes.
reviews.
That you are absolutely correct. There is more steps. Mr. O'Connor just talked to them. I saw the email yesterday, and we do have more steps. It's not a financial commitment. We do have to do we do the numbers that we brought to you before are not even the final numbers, because obviously the staff changes and they have to do another actual. So Mr. O'Connor, can you please speak on that, please?
Yes, it's projected our costs are going to go down on this. Just point blank, removing some of the individuals and the employees gone. So we do have about 4 other steps that are in between this approval and July, and one of them is a final.
Mr. O'Connor, just because we have the volume a little low in the room, could you just state that again and state it very emphatically? Because I think you said something that we wanted to catch. You said we have 4 steps left. Is that what you said?
Yes, yeah, and I can be as that succinct. We have 4 steps left, and Chief already covered the actuarial portion of that, and pricing will go down.
Thank you. Councilmember Noble.
Mr. O'Connor, 4 steps remaining. So what's the time frame for those 4 steps?
May 15th, the rest of the paperwork, May 1st, this paperwork is due, the resolutions. And May 15th, all the paperwork from the employees is due. And then everything would be finalized in June. And then employees would be in the system July 1.
Thank you.
Councilmember Brownson.
I guess my question was, when I heard that there were 4 other steps, is there any step that you can back out of? And what step can you back out of it?
So up until July 1, the mayor and council have the ability to back out of this particular situation, should they so choose. Also, if you get down 2 years down the road or a year down the road and you decide this is not where you want to be, you can withdraw from this system as well. There is no penalty to the town for withdrawing from the system. You just have to state why you're doing it. And if it's finances, that's all you have to do. And there's actually an application where to withdraw from the state system. So you're not locked in permanently or committed for eternity.
Thank you. That makes it a little better.
That makes it much better because that way we still have time to evaluate, to get final numbers and to make an assessment. And to Councilmember Brown's point, back out. All right, and find funding. All right, so with that being said,
I got a question.
Councilmember Kennedy.
All right, so if I heard correctly, we still have very little bit of time to pass this. So basically the deadline's around middle of May. What I would like to see is the breakdown of every employee right now and the percentage of what's contributed, because originally we were informed that it was going to be 20%. The last meeting, we were told something that was totally skewed from that. So if you think about, I believe the numbers were 38% for the police department. Since that's the biggest employee basket that we have, even if you do roughly 50,000 times 38% times 13 officers, which is a number that was floated earlier, that's still almost 250,000 a year. That's not including the officers that make more than that, So I would like to see our current list of employees, what their salary is, and what percentages are actually coming out. And I hope the percentage doesn't change yet again, because if it does, I'm totally washing my hands of this.
Mr. Mayor.
To staff, yeah. So let me just give this direction to staff. I know that a document went out that has the breakdown of the total cost by departments, admin, and law enforcement. All the law enforcement officers are at the same rate. However, the rate and the numbers that were put out in that document are adding up the total cost. If there's the possibility to break it down by employee as an estimate, can we provide just a list of the position and the percentage, just so it's broken out? That's Councilmember Kennedy's request. I think that's going to supplement that first document that went out probably a month ago or 3 weeks ago. Does that make sense?
Yes, but that's not possible in that particular aspect. So, and just one point of clarity, we don't have any more time for the resolutions. The resolutions need to be approved and up to the state no later than May 1st.
Just a minute. I think the question is not about these resolutions. It's the ones or the actions that will come later. Is that correct, Councilmember Kennedy?
Yeah, I see. It's a combination. Because this is, I understand, we're using what they had to sort of subsidize the first couple of years, but we are looking long term. And it is a big step because obviously we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we're utilizing the taxpayers' money, which all of the elected body are taxpayers because we have to live in town in order to be an elected official. So that's why I think this is a harder pill to swallow. It's easy for somebody that may or may not live in town to say, oh, well, it's just $300,000 thousand. But we have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we are utilizing the town funding as best as possible. This has no way, shape, or form anything to say that we don't value our employees. We definitely do. But they got to understand this, the financial aspect of it too.
Thank you, Councilmember Kennedy.
I think what will clear it up, because right now, I would say let the state do the actuaries, because major things have changed. The council is no longer on the application. We've lost longevity employees. The numbers are changed, because for us to give you an amount and they come back with something different, it's not. I would say let them do the actuary.
So from the resolutions that we approve or consider approving tonight, they will give us numbers that are more firm, that will not change.
Yes, they want us to come and do the final actuary. That's when you get your final number of what Councilman Kennedy is asking for. And just like Mr. O'Connor said, we still have time. But what the state is asking is they want to start the actuaries now before July, because it messes up their numbers.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Chief Reese. All right. So I'll move that we adopt resolution 09-25.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 09-25. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Hines, Councilmember Kennedy,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Councilwoman Hines.
She left.
I'm sorry, what?
Councilmember Hines has left.
Oh, okay. Can you come back to me?
Yes. Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
I'm sorry, I did not hear Councilwoman Brownson.
Councilmember Brownson voted yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to abstain.
Thank you. Mayor Lily,
Yes.
4 yeses, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have resolution 10-25. And this was previously stated, and it is a resolution of the town of Forest Heights authorizing participation in the Maryland Law Enforcement Officers Pension System. I move that we adopt resolution 10-25. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 10-25. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
What's is
Just a
this?
moment, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry. What was the title of this one?
This is the resolution for the law enforcement officers pension system. I'll read the full
Thank
title. You got it?
Yes, it's just the law enforcement version of pretty much the resolution we just did. All right, thank
Well,
you.
the resolution we just did, it's for the employees, then we're gonna do law enforcement under consideration, and then there is another one after this. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Forgive me, Mayor Lily, did we have a second?
Yes, Council President Noble, second.
Thank you. Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Brownson, Councilmember Kennedy,
Abstain.
Mayor Lily,
Yes.
4 yeses, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, next we have resolution 11-25. This is a pickup resolution for the Maryland State Retirement and Pension System of the town of Forest Heights. I move that we adopt resolution 11-25.
A second.
It has it has been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 11-25. Discussion. On this particular item, this is a little different from the last two that we just voted on. This is Chief, can you give me just the highlight on the differentiation between
So this is,
11-25?
so this is the resolution for, electing to start from when the employee started with the town. And not starting at year one now. This is included in the same numbers that you have. So for the actuaries that they're gonna do, basically it's saying, hey, we want you to do the actuaries for when they first came into the town and to do those numbers. In other words, the other options would be to start at everybody to enter into the plan, but to start everybody at year one now. So that's the reason. It's for the actuaries.
And it's a good clarification, because of the way the state has given us information about the way they structure the plan, we're not paying for the years prior to starting the plan. They've given us a credit of, I believe, in the actuary we have currently, it was a proposed $1.7 million credit to cover the cost of the prior years of service for the employees.
Yes, sir, you're correct. We have a credit.
All right, thank you. Is there any further discussion on resolution 11-25? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Noble,
Yes.
Councilmember Kennedy,
Abstain.
Councilmember Brownson,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Mayor Lily,
Yes.
4 yeses, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. To staff, I think it may be helpful for us to find out what other pension plans exist between now and our next meeting outside of the state pension plan. In the event that we don't choose to adopt and go into the state retirement, we have some other options and can consider options that allow us to take care of employees even if we can't go with this exact plan. All right. If there's no further business, announcements, items of information, the time is now 10:36 and this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.